Welcome! My name is Wikirobot and I'm a self-taught web developer from the 7pm Tech forums. This series of videos is going to teach you HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and PHP/MySQL. So each video or section will end with the creation of a small web page, eventually leading up to a basic blog. Today we're going to start with HTML though. What is HTML? Well, HTML is the basic building blocks of a web page. It lets you put the text, it lets you put the images, the links, anything you need on a web page, HTML will display that. However, it will not let you do amazingly fun things with it. Like, you can't make things dance around the page with HTML, and you can't make things beautifully colored just with HTML. Those require CSS and JavaScript, which will each be their own video. So let's just start off with what you need to make an HTML page. You really just need a text editor and a web browser. Every operating system that I know of has those built into it. For Windows, it's Notepad and Internet Explorer. I would suggest getting a better browser if you're using Internet Explorer. A lot of the fun things I'm going to do will not be fully supported by Internet Explorer. For Mac, it comes with TextEdit and Safari, which are both fairly good, and Linux comes with Firefox and Gedit. Those are all you need to make a web page with HTML. So now let's start with the basic tags. The basic tags are these. You have HTML tag, which signifies the start of a web page. Then you have the head tag, which signifies the start of where you can put things that will affect the entire page, like the title tag, which will change the tab title in the browser. Then you have the title tag, then you have the slash title tag. The slash title tag closes the title tag. Then you have the slash head tag, which closes the head section. Then the body tag, which is where you'll put all of your tags that will display text, images, pictures, and links. The slash body tag, which closes the body of the page. And the slash HTML tags, which closes the entire document into one. Well, it can, yeah. So this is a very basic structure of a page. Everything opens, like the HTML opens the page, and everything closes, like the slash HTML. You have to remember that for HTML tags. They're always going to open and close in some form. So now let's start with some of the basic tags that are useful. The title tag, it lets you change the tab title. So let's start by changing it to Hello World. Let's save that. And I'm using Chrome with, where is it? There. This would change the Hello World here. That's what it displays. So now let's go back to our page, and let's show you a tag that will display any text you put between it. This tag is called the paragraph tag. It's written like this, with a P in two caret things, I guess is the right to call them. Any text you put here or anything else will be displayed in this paragraph. So let's put Hello World here also. Now let's jump back to our display page and let's save it. Then let's jump to our Hello World. Then you have Hello World here, which is written in the paragraph tag. Now if I were to just write Hello World without paragraph tags, it might work, but it's not good. Yeah, it still works, but it's not a good way to do anything. It doesn't give it any type of formatting or any valid way to do that. So let's continue with the paragraph tag. You have the start, which is a P, and then you would have Hello World. Then you would close it with a slash P. That's the basics. Now what happens if you have tons of text? I'm just going to copy something from another tag, another page, and we'll see what happens when you have a long string of text. Let me format it correctly. And now let's jump back to our page and refresh. It will generally either cut itself off at the end, depending on the browser's default styles, or it will keep going. I'm fairly certain that Canary's default style is that it text wraps or cuts itself off. So that's the basics of a paragraph tag. You can put other tags within it, so let's move on to our next tag. So our next tag is going to be the header tag. It allows you to create headers on your page. You'll have larger text than as a header. So let's start off with what a basic header is. H1 is the largest header you can have. So it will be very large compared to the rest of the text. So let's jump back and take a look. This is an H1 header. There's 6 header tags. You have H1 to H6 right here. H1 is the largest. H2 will be one step down from H1. H3 will be one step down from H2. H4 one step down from H3. H5 one step down from H4. And H6 one step down from H5. Since you don't really want to watch me type all of these, I already made this page up. So let's jump over and take a look at the different headers. Header example. These are the different headers. You have H1, H2, H3, H4, H5, and H6, each getting smaller. So let's introduce one more tag before we start our first example. This is going to be the image tag. The image tag is one of the weird tags that is self-closing. It's caret thing, image, src equals, link goes here. I'm going to copy a link from the other one. And you have to make sure you have these quotes, or it will be a bad tag. It won't render anything. Alt equals hi. There's a couple weird things about this tag. One, it self-closes. It means you don't have a /image, if I could spell right, image after it. That's what this ending thing is for. Second is that it has required things inside of it. The src, which is pretty much where you would put the link to the image, is required for an image tag, and the alt, which is the text that you will get when you hover over the image, is also required. The alt isn't required to have anything in it, but it's a required attribute to have. So let's take a look at what this would look like. Image example. So this would create two images next to each other. They would look very nice, and it's in theory, if you hover over them, they will give text off. Okay, so the last thing I'm going to explain before we start making our first very basic web page is doctype. Doctype is an interesting tag. It is a way to tell a HTML validator what type of HTML page this is going to be. One of the most common ones would be something like this one. First, doctypes will go on the top of the page before anything else. They're going to tell the HTML validator what it's going to look for. And there's going to be a link in the description of each type, and there's about 4 for each version of HTML. This one tells the validator that it's an HTML4 type, and it's transitional. That means it's not going to be as strict when it's checking it as it could be. And then the newest doc type is doctype HTML. This is the most current one for HTML5. This is what you're going to use if you're doing anything with the HTML5 tags. I'm going to stick with the HTML4 tag for now because it's pretty much what we need. It doesn't do anything on the page. It just tells the validator and the browser what way to check the page. So now let's start on our final project. I already have the doc type up there because I'm too lazy to type it effectively. Then we'll start with an HTML tag, then our head tag, then let's add a title tag so we can change the title of the browser tab. Let's call it My Home because this is going to be a example of a home page. Then it's closed. I just closed the title tag. Then I'm going to close the header tag so that all of the head tags, so that all of the tags open and close correctly. Then I'm going to add a body tag. In here I'm going to add everything that I'm going to put on the page. I'm just finishing up my tags so it's easier and valid when we want to look at it. So let's start by looking at what this causes the page to do. Here is the page. Wrong one. Here is the page. Right now it's just changes the title to My Home. So now let's add a large header so that is going to say something similar to the title tag. So h1 is a large header. And let's call it My Landing Page /h1 so that the h1 tag is valid. The h1 tag does not have to be between anything else except the body tags. It doesn't have to be between a paragraph tag. So now we have a header. Let's look at what that will look like. Here's the header. Now let's jump back and add an image. Let's add the same image src equals, and I'm going to put the same image from the image example. src equals the image URL. Then the alt text will be a cat. Then let's close the image tag. So now we're going to have a My Landing Page show up and an image show up also. Here we go. Now let's add a small description of myself. Hello, my name is Wikirobot, and I am a web developer with the... Now I'm going to stop here for a sec. I'm going to introduce a new tag. This is going to be called the link tag, is the easiest way to say it without using the name. The link tag starts with A, then href equals, then the URL you're going to want to put in, http:// 7pmtech.co.cc. Then I'm going to close that, and that would cause a link. We'll create a link for whatever text will go between the start of the tag and the end of the tag, right where my cursor is at the moment. So I'm going to put 7 p.m. tech forums, if I could ever capitalize right. So right now that's a sentence, and you can see how I've embedded the link tag inside the paragraph tag. So now this will create a link to 7 p.m. tech forums. And then I'm going to close the p tag and show you what that looks like. So that'll create a link to the 7 p.m. tech forums, and my antivirus is being a butt. So I'll show you that. It would create a link to here. And then, now there's one other tag I want to add to your repertoire before I finish this lesson. It's going to be the break tag. It's start, br, / and it's its own tag. That is a start and an end of its own tag. It will insert a new line after this paragraph. So anything if I were to put a paragraph after, or continue this paragraph, and I like cats /p. Let's see what that does, because the break tag will add a new line after it. So there should be, and I like cats. If I take out the break tag to show you what else it would look like, it will be on the same line. And see, it changed back to the same line. So that's all I'm going to get into for this lesson. I'm going to add more next lesson, and we're going to start with CSS. Let's just show you the difference if I add a h2 header. Let's make it links slash h2. So now I'm going to add links beneath lat. Heyref equals www.google.com. I should have put the correct http://. And then let's make a link to Google. Yeah, I know I said this was all I was showing you, but I'm showing you more ways how to use the A tag. So that you can that'll create a link to any URL you put in here, and you can call it whatever you want here. Like I could call this Yahoo if I really wanted to, but Yahoo if I really wanted to, but I'm not going to. Let's call it Google, and then let's make one to Facebook. Heyref equals http://www.facebook.com, close quotations, and Facebook /a. Oh, I forgot to tell you that all of your link heyrefs must start with a quotation and end with a quotation. Similar to the image src, it must start with a quotation and end with a quotation. That just makes it so it knows exactly what the link is. Now let's take one last look at lists. And now we have links, Google, Facebook, and since they're in the same line, I'm going to add a br/list, and you will now have a landing page with links. Next week, or actually not really next week, sorry. Next video, I'm going to introduce CSS, and we're going to use this page setup to create a prettier landing page. So watch for that next video, please.